started the episode yet, so
That's fine. Hi,
everybody
we're
know.
live.
Pretty much.
Now I gotta move the puzzle if I do this. Decisions.
This is what happens. Eric opens his mouth and everything goes to hell.
You know what? It wouldn't be a podcast if shit didn't go to hell, dude. That's all I'm saying. There we go. I pressed you right. And then you come back here. Hey. There we go.
Hi.
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 All right, Ryan, did you have any questions before we get started?
He can't hear you. He's got his headset off.
Oh, did you take it off? Okay.
That's how I get ready for stream every day.
He's got to look pretty. Give him a minute.
Do you have any questions before we start here, Ryan?
Is it bad that I didn't prepare?
No, that's fine. As long as you have these show notes open and you just read the articles when we get to it, that should be fine.
Oh, dude, GDC 2019 highlights. It's currently frozen, but
that's fine. So we'll wing it.
They're gonna whine about it if I don't.
I'm just laughing at the poster behind Nickel that says "D's nuts" on it.
Yeah, no. So that's from a hardcore show I went to. It was Straight from the Path and Comeback Kid were headlining, and D's Nuts and Major League and Being Is an Ocean were opening. And when I came out, I was like, D's Nuts. I'm like, did they bring out a rap group? No, it was a hardcore group. They were just mumble rappers, but playing hardcore music. So it was interesting.
Dude, mumble rapping seems like a way of life.
It unfortunately is.
Can I get into it?
I'd like to be. You don't have enough colors in your hair.
Hey, that can be changed. All right.
You don't have any tattoos on your face. You're too small. Well, okay, not even the size.
No, he's
thing.
perfect
That's not even
size.
the issue. He's actually the perfect size. Yeah.
So mad
about the kombucha.
Yes.
Dude, I just had to give him a drink, dude. He was getting thirsty sitting there for so long.
Wait, you changed your setup a little bit, or no?
Nah, dude, you're just drunk.
Okay.
You're in college, though. You can write it off.
Yeah. Oh, dude. That's so much work to do. Okay. So I'm going to do the intro in a little bit, and then we'll just go straight to the bullshit.
All right.
Wait, we haven't been going to the bullshit? I'm confused.
No, not yet. Not officially.
I'm sorry.
This is all part of the pre-show. Yeah, this is a pre-show.
Bullshit. Okay.
Yeah. If Tyler feels like he can use any of this, he'll clip it and edit it in.
But I tagged on something on Twitter. But
oh no.
Yeah, probably this.
Probably this.
Jackalope.
Oh my.
Retweet and like, retweet and like, retweet and like.
Retweet and like.
Camera angle.
Come here, kitty. You're going to be the focus of the podcast. You just don't know it yet. My cat's going to eat pork skins on the podcast.
Oh, that's tight, dude. What's your
cat's
cat's name?
Spolly. Spolly, because she's a polydactyl cat. She has thumbs.
Oh.
Dude, oh my god. I'm just sorry.
Oh,
I
just realized something.
My emote artist sent me drafts.
Is that better?
I have a half chub. Yes.
So it looks like I can actually. So I'm not sitting here in the dark like electricity and shit. I didn't even think about
it. I just thought
I'm the token brown person of the group.
Yeah, exactly. God damn it,
Don't
Nickel.
take my job.
And action.
Welcome back to another episode of Casual Master Quest. This is episode 44, and I'm your host, Nick. That's what they call me on the show, by the way. Tyler couldn't say my name, and then that stuck, and so that's what I am now.
So you can't say Nickel?
Well, I mean, he figured it out eventually, but then stuck because we were like 6 episodes in. So he's just like, all right, well, this is what you are now. So I'm like, all right, cool. Tyler isn't here today. Yes, Ryan.
I just want to refer to you as first name Nick, last name Hill. Is that okay?
That's what I used to do actually when I was younger because I thought that was cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Nick with a hill, baby. You know, and you
Gotcha.
can.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Can
was. I
I
was
make
8.
you get out? Dude,
so
come
it
on,
looks
no
like
joke.
it looks like Ryan and I are going to take over the show today after that fucking joke. Jesus Christ.
So Tyler's on vacation. He's off enjoying his time, and he left me with complete control of this episode, and I had no idea what to do. I was busy, and I ran into Ryan and my friend here, Erican. Ryan is also my friend sometimes. Um, so just a little bit about them before we continue. I met them both at Guardian Con. Ryan's a little head ass, but he showed me around, made sure that I had a good time, and so I'm thankful for that. And then I ran into Erican the last day before I left Tampa, and he also showed me around, showed me a good time too, just a little bit. We went through some frustrating times on that trip. Um, yeah.
Mhm.
And Erican's also been very helpful with me becoming an affiliate in my streaming stuff, so I'm very appreciative of that too. And
Because
I'm
Ryan don't
excited
do
today.
shit to help with that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, hey, I gave you hair tips once, right? That counts.
Sure, sure. I don't know how much that would have helped Erican, but
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, you know what? He could have. I can't help him with beards. You know,
Yeah.
like that's your specialty, dude. Like, come on. People are
yeah,
already
you
giving me
just
crap.
grow it. You don't shave, don't trim. You just grow it out. That's really the only tip.
As far as I can tell, you're supposed to put oil in it, but I don't know what kind or where you get it.
I use vegetable
Well, you need to have
oil.
some vegetable oil.
Hey, man, al natural.
All right, so
I'm
we just want to start
vegan.
with vegan. Listen, hopefully my sister doesn't listen to that. I'm sorry. I didn't. They didn't mean that.
Is she vegan?
She is vegan. Yeah.
So she like corn cobs.
Sure. If she's a picky vegan, that's the worst thing too.
So she
She
eats
just-
nothing.
She doesn't like salads. No, pretty much.
Oxygen.
Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves? Ryan, why don't you go first? Beauty before us.
I mean, what? I don't. Yes. Okay. Hi, my name is Ryan. That's it. That's it. No,
Ryan, what do you do, Ryan?
Jesus,
Just kidding. I currently I am a manager at Target, and it's a lot of fun because I get to close the building down all the time, which basically means that at a certain point I get to have my way with the store, and that's pretty fun. And then outside of that, I stream. I do that, I think, a little bit here, right? And then as far as other things to do, I just do those and work out, okay, Nikhil, and eat a lot. And I live a pretty simple life. I think that about sums it up.
Okay, I don't believe that you eat a lot, but
Correction,
Erican.
I need to eat a lot.
You need to eat a lot. Yes. He's got to run around in the shower to get wet. Just recently moved to well, first off, my name's Eric and they keep calling me that. My actual name is Brian. They're welcome to use that at any time, but apparently Erican has become my nom de plume moving forward. I just moved to the Virginia area from Tampa, which is where again Nikel and Ryan and I first met at Guardian Con in the Tampa area. Just moved to Virginia, looking for work right now. Do a lot of streaming as much as I can. In the streaming, I'm a variety streamer. I'm also a mental health advocate dealing with that. So I consider, and I hate to use the term, but my stream is a safe place for people to come and talk. You know, if they have concerns, issues, anything like that. As much of a smart ass as I may be, you know, I still want people to feel comfortable if they need a place to go or talk or anything like that. So
Yeah, Erican's a bit of a smartass, but I made some friends in your community, and I made friends with this entire community in general.
yeah, he's
And,
actually got a shrine to one of my mods.
Yeah, no, 100%. She is my queen. She is my leader, and I will do anything for her. But beyond that, thank you very much for joining us today, guys. This is
Happy
gonna
to
be a
be here.
fun
Thank
episode.
you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How's everybody's week been so far? As the weekend kind of simmers down.
It's been quiet. I've been, you know, like I said, with me working or looking for work right now, I've been putting out resumes. I put like 5 to 10 out a day. I'm finding out that, 15 years as a financial advisor really makes me overqualified to work at a lot of places, is what
Right.
I'm hearing from a lot of people. They're like, oh, you want to stock shelves? I don't think so.
Oh man.
And I would imagine that's an issue when you just want to find work.
Yeah, just work. And
Right.
Brian, that wasn't a dig, I promise. But I like applied for a merchandising position at Lowe's and they were like, no, we can't hire you. I was like, you're fucking kidding me, right?
No, I would say,
Right.
oh my God, because they're screwing up. Dang it. All right.
I appreciate that. I'd be the best shelf
Mad
stocker
about it,
known to
dude.
man.
Dude, I would let you stock my sheets. Wait.
I'm sure you would
That's
let me
hot.
stock whatever I wanted. I don't think you could stop me.
I can run fast, okay?
As long
And
as it's
jump
not,
over more things than you, sir.
look, as long as it's downhill, I've got a shot.
True,
Gravity is my friend.
Oh my, oh my.
So what about you? How's your week been, Ryan?
Dude, it's been at work it was not the best, but not the worst. It was definitely I basically like choked on a few couple of days at work, like, I was coming in for that W and then I just screwed up my strategy to get it. And so I had some rough days at work, but I did some hopping today at the gym, which was great.
Nice.
And finally picked up Division 2.
Oh,
So like that's been making me happy. I still suck and I'm like level 7,
right.
but I love
Did
how
you
much there is to do.
did you learn anything from the L's at work?
Yes.
Because that's the most important thing. Taking
Yes.
an L is not a horrible thing if you learn from it.
It's true. Half of them were that I should sleep more.
Okay.
Like, yeah, those were I was like, you know what? I just would have been happier if I slept. I was
Okay.
like, that's what it would have been. The
Simple
other part,
fix.
yeah, the other part was, always going with a smart plan, but make sure you know how the person that wrote the plan, what they were thinking when they did it, because otherwise you're just gonna have a map
Or
to
if they
it.
were thinking at all.
Fair, fair.
So sleeping
Fair.
more means stop, show guesting or guest showing on people's podcasts so you can get sleep.
Yeah, this one
Yeah,
guy,
pretty
Nick,
much.
he asked me
Yeah.
to be on there and he like gave me this desperate plea, and I was like, you know what, all right, I
What a
guess.
piece of
Fine.
shit, especially when he
Fine.
knows that you're going through a hard time
I
and he
know.
should just
Even
let you do your own
considerate.
thing. I
Yes,
can't
sir.
the balls in some people today, It's
Oh man.
I've
Speaking
been
of you,
sick.
Nick, though, yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
how have you
Yeah.
been?
I've
I
been sick.
guess.
School's been interesting. So I've been complaining about this for weeks now, but I'll enlighten the two of you. So one of my projects, somebody backed out. That meant I had to do a lot of the work,
Mhm.
and that coupled with my other projects meant that I've been up pretty late most nights, and almost all nighters when you're sick don't lead for very good days. But I've been doing that now for about 2 or 3 weeks. Somehow I fought through it. I'm feeling a lot better, and
That's
I'm
good.
moving soon, but I
Awesome.
haven't
Where
started
you going?
packing. Back home.
Wait.
No, I'm not going back home. Um, I'm just moving down the street. I think about 6 blocks south. I think that's
Any particular
fair guess.
reason or
Mice.
mice? Okay.
Yeah, mice. So we've been dealing with mice since November. But management hasn't done anything about it, and we've just decided that was enough. The final straw, I think, was when my roommate was trying to take a dump, and he saw a couple of mice run across the floor in front of him. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna move," and I said, "That sounds like a good idea."
Those are
Um,
some brave mice.
they're
They
they've,
give no fucks.
they've now infested every single one of the walls. So
Oh damn.
sleeping's a bit of a challenge when all you can hear is like them chewing away from the inside. And so then they started calling me. Management started calling me. And they're like, "Okay,
Oh,
we're
I
gonna
thought you
start
meant the
showing."
mice. I was like,
There's sentient too, dude. You better get out quick.
they were like, "Can you leave some stuff out for us tonight?
Oh,
We don't
man.
need it
We've
slack
got 8
between
days left. We've got 8 days, and we'll survive.
What?
No, management started calling me. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna start showing the place." I'm like, "All right." So you're gonna start showing the place with the mice, right? They're like, "Wait, mice? What mice? They're still there." I'm like, "Yeah, dude. None of the holes have been patched up. You only have one maintenance guy for. I think the company owns 10 buildings in the Greater Vancouver area. You've got one maintenance guy. None of the holes have been patched up. They're in the walls. They're shitting all over my kitchen. They're shitting underneath my, all over the bathroom. And you're still gonna show the place?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, cool." I
Yeah, whatever.
I just don't know what to do with pieces of shit. So um that's pretty much been my week, just dealing with school. I launched a website and a video that I've been working hard on. And speaking of that, I'm going to be pulling a few all-nighters again to finish up our second video. But beyond that, I'm tired. I really am.
So here's the thing, though, with the mice in the walls, isn't that like free ASMR without the tits?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, it helps me go to sleep. I don't even have to like have my music playing now at night. I just have to listen to
He's
the
got white
mice
noise.
chewing away.
And
Oh
every
my
4 hours he gets that phone call. Hey, put some cheese out.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
She's out.
before the mice start complaining about the Twitch thoughts stealing their viewers.
Exactly.
I was gonna make a stealing their cheese joke, but
Viewers and thoughts is much better.
it's true. It's
Uh,
true. It's true.
so we already mentioned Division 2 lightly. So and Eric and I know I've been watching you play some of that, Ryan. You just picked that up the other day. So before we talk about Division 2, what else have you guys been playing?
Ryan?
Overwatch and Apex.
I fucking hate Overwatch, but I've been having fun with it again.
Dude, sometimes you just gotta go into a quick play and swing a hammer. All right.
Are we still talking about Overwatch?
Yes, and no.
We're just talking about a big sweaty German man in a suit of armor swinging hammers at little people.
I've watched that movie before.
Listen, it's a classic. Okay.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. That was different, but
So how are you doing in Apex? What level are you up to now?
me? You mean like the battle pass, dude?
Yeah. Like, are you doing Battle Pass first off?
Oh man, dude. No.
Okay.
No, how come?
I wanted to play Division first, so I was like, I'm
That's
not gonna,
fair.
you know what I mean? But I'll probably do it eventually, but I was not compelled to,
Okay.
based on the rewards. I think
Okay.
that
Yeah.
EA and
Lackluster?
Respawn. Well, yeah. I think it's just, I don't know if it was lackluster or just Epic has been a jerk and built everyone's expectations really high.
I could see that. What about
Yeah.
Overwatch? Are you out of cardboard yet?
I am out of cardboard and into recyclable cardboard.
Nice. Okay.
I just got that. I'm like, cardboard. What the fuck is he talking about? I'm like, oh man.
Out of cardboard into
Yeah.
recyclable materials and on my way to bronze one day. But
Nice.
yes, no, I actually I got above plat like by like 25 points, and then
Nice.
I played a game, like 2 games, lost in 1 or something like that, and then I'm like, you know what? 25 over plat is good for me, so I'll
Quit
buy
while you're
Division.
ahead.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
where he
buy
stopped.
Division
He's
2,
like,
dude.
not playing for the rest of the season
Hey.
just to leave in plat.
You know what? Hey, if your season high is in plat, your season high is in plat, dude.
There you go.
So
There you go.
all I'm saying, man. So
Yeah,
that's all.
with Apex, I didn't want to get the battle pass until I'm done with school, or at least almost done. I finished around the 14th with most of my deadlines, but I would agree with Ryan. It did seem lackluster, but I'm not particularly upset about it because the game only just came out, and they're trying to figure out their place amongst all the other BRs that offer a similar system. But beyond that, I've just been playing Destiny because I'm a degenerate and I hate myself, and I want to keep playing the same games over and over again, no matter how bad they are. Yeah.
I can empathize, mostly because I play a lot of 7 Days to Die.
Mm-hmm.
And I do play a lot of 7 Days to Die. I've almost hit my 4,000 hours in the game.
Oh my.
Yeah. And it's one of those things. It's like it's a double-edged sword. I enjoy playing it because the game itself is a lot of fun, but the development team is a bunch of imbeciles. So, I mean, it's just that thing where I spend a lot of time, play it, support the game, enjoy the community, enjoy the people that I play the game with, but the people that run the damn game, Jesus Christ. But aside from that, it's been a little bit of RimWorld, but a lot of Division 2 as well as soon as that came out. So
Right. I think we share a love for RimWorld. I just don't play it often because it's one of those games where I have to take about 6 months of a gap, and then I'll play it nonstop for about 3 weeks, and then take another 6 months break, and then play it again nonstop for 3 weeks.
you might want to check out some of the mods. I mean, if you haven't done it yet, because the mods actually make the game a lot fresher and newer, and a lot of the flexibility that they offer in the mods makes it a much more enjoyable process to repeat. So even though you've been playing it or if you've been playing it repeatedly, the mods definitely breathe a lot of new life into it. And it's got one of the biggest workshop communities on Steam right now.
Right. What's your favorite mod?
Favorite mod that I've got is one called EDB Prepare Carefully, which allows you to edit any of your pawns to whatever you want them to be. So if you want to play really hardcore and make them all sorts of fucked up, you can do that, or you can make it really easy and fix a lot of their issues too. So you don't have like psychopaths killing the dog day 3.
Right.
So,
Are there any like story-driven mods?
yeah, there's quite a few. There's actually one mod that's actually hooked into the API for Twitch that allows your community to dictate the next things that are going to happen.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it'll be like good, neutral, bad, or like a weather effect or a settler effect or something like that, and your stream can actually dictate what's going to happen.
Ooh, that sounds like a good incentive for bits and donation. Well, I mean, if you're that kind of person, but otherwise, that just sounds like a good old like interactive time.
Oh yeah, it
Um,
definitely it lets you see who in your stream actually likes you, and then find out that it's none of them.
Mhm.
well, by I was gonna say by like you mean who wants to see you fail repeatedly over and
Oh
over
yeah,
again and just make it the hardest possible fucking time for you.
oh yeah, painfully repeatedly.
Right.
There's definitely a market for that type of viewership. So
Yeah, I think we've
Yeah.
all seen Getting Over It. And if there could be a way to like pull things away from you as your hammer was swinging, yeah, I think he could have made that a wonderful thing if it was involved with the community.
Right. So, Division Two.
Yeah.
Both of you been playing it.
Yep.
I'm
yeah,
gonna be picking it up in a few weeks. Again, once school simmers down. Um, Brian, how much time do you have on Division Two? Like 10 hours?
40, no, like, oh, Ryan or Brian?
Yeah, Ryan.
you definitely said Brian, dude, and
Yeah.
you got a Brian and a Ryan. So
You
Right.
go to
Okay.
the
Just tell me,
I'm just,
either of you,
I'm
just tell
just.
me how many times, how
What was
much
the
time you have
question
in the
again,
game.
dude?
How many
How
hours do
much
you have,
time?
Ryan?
How many hours?
I would put it at 4.5 to 5, maybe 5.5.
Okay, so enough to form like solid first impression.
Yeah. I'd put it there. Yeah, good, solid first impression.
Um, have you um, have you played Division One?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you played
Like
that a lot.
it was not as much as I played Destiny 1, but like at least 60% the same.
Right.
No,
Right.
50%, 50%, but still a
Because
lot.
I didn't touch the franchise until the Division Two beta. Actually, I
Mm,
got access to the private beta, and I thought it was an interesting game. It reminded me of very much of Assassin's Creed, at least the later Assassin's Creed, in the sense of kind of like open world exploration style. You can go around, discover this area, do these
mhm,
things. The gunplay was standard. It wasn't anything super exciting. I think it was the abilities and
yeah.
the combinations of the gear. Um, but what are your first impressions so far with Division Two compared to Division One?
Um, I mean, it's basically like just a exceptionally polished version of it. And like Division 1 was a great game in like 1. What is it, 8, I think. Like that's when
Right.
it like finally hit its like climax, if you will.
Yeah.
And but the road until then was long.
And
And
bumpy.
yeah, yeah, there were a lot of potholes and they were very deep. But so I would say like Division 1 at its core was still like had the solid replay loop or whatever that like made you want to grind it out and play the game if you were already into it and play with buds. But Division 2 has like everything that Division 1 would have actually needed for people to play it past the 30-day mark for people getting into the series, if that
Right.
makes sense. Like people
Right.
that bought into Division 1 but weren't sure were disappointed because of how it was. But whereas like, hardcore fans are hardcore fans for a reason because they're
I mean,
hardcore.
they did everything right finally. Now they've had
Yep.
the entire first series to see what all their screw ups were, and
Mhm.
now they've seen the screw ups and they've basically implemented everything to fix those screw ups,
Yeah.
except for the one like major issue that's going on right now, which is the one shot build, the one shot sniper build in PvP. That we're
Mhm.
expecting to see a lot of some form of adjustment for that in the next week or two.
Yeah. But yeah, and like that's kind of the what is it? Like the one shot build is only shitty because it's in PvP too.
Yeah,
So that's
Right.
even like less against
the whole
the
thing.
game
Yeah,
itself, right?
yeah.
Because it's by and large a PvE game.
Hmm.
So
Right. And it's not like issues with service games like this at launch aren't uncommon.
No, of
Uh,
course.
but for the most part of all the things I've heard, there's just been a few like annoying bugs, the one shot kill build, and a few other things, but not as bad in comparison to something as what was the game called where you with BioWare Anthem.
mm,
um, Anthem had a pretty troubled launch. I couldn't even remember the name of the fucking game.
With all their
Uh,
loot in the first week and adjusting it one way, then readjusting it back the other way, and yeah.
Yeah, and then early access, and then promising a day one patch that didn't come on day one, but came during the early access day one, but didn't come on the and then the launch time. Anyways,
Hmm. Yeah, it was.
Brian, how
Yes.
was your experience with Division 2 so far?
Division 2 so far is very much what Ryan's saying. I'm a little further along in the game than he is. I'm actually in end game world tier 4 already. But I've got probably about 45 hours in.
I was gonna say
One of
a
those
little bit.
a little bit. It's one of those benefits of being unemployed. I can spend time playing video games when I'm not sending out resumes. But yeah, very much like what I was saying is the fact that they learned from their first iteration and learned what was not working and what did work. I expect there to be a lot of, like we were talking about just briefly, the one shot build in the PvP. I expected something like that because in games like this, you're never going to have every possibility with your beta testers because you've got maybe 50 beta testers and then you release the game to, you know, a million people, 500,000 people. Somebody's going to find something to break, and that was what they did. They finally found the thing to break, which was the one shot build. And just other little bugs, like some of the skins that you get don't actually work on the clothes, don't actually work on the guns, but it's smooth. The gameplay is good, the gunplay is good, it sounds amazing, it looks phenomenal. It's a great game. It's a
Mhm.
phenomenal game for what it is right now, and I can't really think of too many things. Like, there's nothing in it right now that would make me stop playing it. So
Right, and the interesting thing about the Division 2 is there, I think it's the first sequel to a big live action game that's actually gone off without a hitch at launch for the most part.
correct. Yeah,
Right.
servers were good, stability was up, people were able to match make, they were able to play with their friends, the ability that, I can honestly say I made it from level 1 to world tier 4 with maybe 2 or 3 disconnects in the whole time
Mhm.
is not a horrible thing, and the fact that it worked that smoothly and that well is huge. And again, it's taking into the fact that all these things they learned in the first one, because there were delta errors left and right. Delta's the standard code for disconnect
Right.
in the game, and it'll boot you off the game. You got to restart the game. So because of that, yeah, there weren't a lot of those at all in this one versus the first one, and I played tons of the first one too right when it came out.
Right, yeah, like again, Anthem, Destiny 2, I think those are at least the two biggest ones in recent memory that Atlas that haven't had great
Yeah.
launches right off the bat. Um, and and I feel like a part of the industry has allowed that to become the norm where girls
Freudian slip.
uh,
Nikel's having some
people
issues.
people know what's on my mind now. Where games launch as full $60 games, um, but are essentially still early access titles,
Yeah.
and that's become like an acceptable standard in the industry. And I don't like it. And to see the Division 2 do so well off launch with minimal bugs and maybe like one game breaking thing is really good actually.
Yeah, it's very, very relieving to see that the game industry is not going to, at least the whole of the game industry is hopefully going to take this as an indicator that no, we do have to step up our game. We do have to put out a finished product. We do have to have at that $60 price point a full-on game. It's not like they released this on Steam 3 years before it was ready with early access. This was the
Mhm.
full-on game. So
Right, and there are some, and I don't fully understand what the discussions are around this topic, but a lot of people are unhappy that Division 2 is exclusively on the Epic Games launcher. What launcher do you guys use to play the game?
you play.
You play.
Uplay. I've never
Yep.
used Uplay. Oh no, I use it for the beta. I
Mhm.
did not like Uplay.
Yep.
I don't dislike Uplay, but I don't like Epic. I'm not going to arbitrarily give a company money just because they want to claim that they're going to do nothing but exclusives because they've proven right here with this one that it's not an exclusive because you can get it on Uplay and you can get it on Epic. And then there was another game that recently was coming out, Other Worlds, I
Outer
think.
Worlds.
Outer Worlds, yes, Outer
Yeah, yeah.
Worlds is now on Epic and it's been taken away from Steam. Like, I don't agree with that. That's one, forcing people to use a system that they may not enjoy or may not be comfortable with just to generate income, and I just can't get behind that. So if given the opportunity of using either the game's base launcher, which again, Ubisoft and The Division, versus any other company and Epic, I'm gonna use the base company's launcher.
I
Yeah,
just didn't.
what's up?
I was just gonna add there. I just didn't know it was on Epic.
Yeah, that was a big
Well
issue a few
informed.
months
Well
ago
informed.
because Epic allows developers and publishers to keep a bigger cut.
Yeah.
So which is why I think a lot of indie devs are pushing for Epic releases because I think they keep 12%. They only take 12% compared to Steam that takes
30.
18 or 20%, 30.
I thought it was like a lot. It was a
No,
lot.
it's a substantial amount compared.
Throwing out
Yeah.
numbers right now, but I'll Google it. Don't worry.
That's fine. No, we like to throw out random facts here. We don't really actually depict accurate news. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the games and IRL stuff. And so what we do with the show here is we have two segments: a modular segment and a topic of the show. Modular segment, we do a bunch of things. This week we have a little bit more of a fun topic. Otherwise, we usually do. I think sometimes we'll do news if there's a lot of things that have happened, something pretty big going on, yeah. And that's been moved to the topic of the show this week. So this week's modular segment is, if you could turn any single player game into a multiplayer game, what would you pick? What would be the fun, what would be the pros and cons of that happening?
I would say Fallout, but we saw how bad they fucked that up already.
We've had a lot of discussions over Bethesda and Fallout 76. Needless to say, nobody that's been on the show ever has enjoyed has any love left for Bethesda or Fallout.
Hey, I still love Bethesda because they're making another Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, there is that.
That isn't Skyrim.
Or a mobile game.
Or mobile Skyrim.
I think that's the only the last link that people have, last saving grace that people have for Bethesda. But no, what single player game do you guys think would make a good multiplayer game? We'll start with you, Ryan. What do you think?
Dude, I just want a Jack and Daxter one. Okay, like a true Jack and Daxter. I don't know, maybe MMO. Like, who cares, dude? But I just want to be in that universe again. Okay.
Ryan, I didn't know you were a Jack and Daxter fan.
Deep down inside, yes. Yes, I started with Crash Bandicoot and Jack Daxter, Spyro, dude.
Are you two gonna need a minute? Maybe a room or something?
Sir, you know me. I only need 5 to 10 seconds.
And Mikkel's over here breathing heavy already.
Make it 3.
No, I grew up on Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter 2. Like, I played the shit out of Jack and Daxter 2.
I like that you said Jack and Daxter 2 specifically. by
because by the time I started playing those games, I couldn't find the first game.
Yeah, I think. Oh, okay. I thought you meant Jack and Daxter as well. I didn't know you meant the second iteration.
No, 2.
Yeah. I couldn't find the first game, and they were only selling pirated copies for my PlayStation 2, and I refused to get the little like optic reader put in. Like, I just wasn't down with that life. I was like, no, I'm fucking paying full price for these games. And also my parents weren't willing to do that because it would ruin my studies. It did anyways, regardless. So joke's on them.
And here you are, sleep deprived in your studies.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit, mom and dad were right.
But a Jack and Daxter MMO, what would that look like? Are we talking about the Lost Frontier, kind of like post era, or
actually, you know what? No, not an MMO. Screw that. I want it to be like a co-op, like a true 2-player co-op. Does that count?
It's multiplayer, more than one person. So
yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, dude, I'm winning here. I mean, maybe there's an online team deathmatch mode. Who knows? Let's just throw that in there for fun.
Who would you play as the second player? Would you play as Daxter?
Well, I mean, you could. Right, there's the potential for that, but I feel like half of Daxter's thing is like being witty. So I mean, like, I don't know if you want to put witty in the power of the hands of the users. They might be boring. So,
well, I mean, with the Lost Frontier, they gave Daxter dark ego powers, so you could play at him during some stages of the game, but not all the time.
I mean, it's 2019. It's not a bad time to introduce a female lead. You know, you could have that happen.
All right, that's Ryan with the hot take.
I'm just spitballing ideas, dude. It's not a hot take, but I'll take
a female lead that's not the love interest of the male lead. That would be.
I mean, she could be, dude. She does whatever she wants.
She could do whatever she wants. Oh, that would be too progressive. You can't do that.
Hey, you're right, dude. We got to scale it back.
She needs to be in a castle and she needs to be saved. Come on now.
Well, yeah, that's just written in law.
That's just facts, bro. It's just science. Um,
No, but actually, I think a co-op Jack and Daxter would be really really cool. I don't know who would be the characters, but like that universe is ripe for it.
I agree. I miss that universe. I miss the story that they built, and I'm just waiting for more. But then they
Hmm.
didn't do any more with it because I think it was Naughty Dog, right? They moved on to other
Mhm.
things.
Hmm.
Um, uh,
I was
Brian,
gonna. Yeah,
apart from Fallout, no, what's up, Brian?
Apart from
I was
Fallout.
just gonna make a joke about they moved on to having more crunch because it was Naughty Dog.
Oh.
I thought I made bad jokes.
I'm out, dude.
Looks like I've got to carry the weight of being the funny one. Jesus Christ.
Oh, dude, thank you. Well, I mean, half of it was timing, but we're already past that. Now we
Yeah.
explain the joke. So, on to Brian's segment.
On to Brian's segment. There are lots of games, like, I'm older than you guys, so there's a lot of single player games back in the day that would be, like, amazing multiplayer in my mind. But one that, a lot of, like, people I think would like to see would be a Zelda game, multiplayer, where you're
Mm,
still in Hyrule, but you're not playing Link. You still have a base goal like a Zelda MMO. I think would be a phenomenal look, especially with how much lore and how much background there is to Hyrule right now, and how many different stories they've shown. I think just the lore and the background, it's sad that there's not a a multiplayer style game for that, in my opinion.
mm,
So Tyler is a very big Zelda fan.
Mm.
And so all I'm gonna take away from what you just proposed is all I'm hearing is a Legend of Zelda Battle Royale set in set
Are
in
you
the Hyrule
are you
in
trying to get
Breath of
kicked
the
off of your
Wild.
own
No,
podcast?
that's perfect, dude, because then you could just sell all of the different characters as skins.
Yeah, there you go. I could play Evil
Mhm.
Link as a skin.
Yeah, every single one of those people you're mentioning in lore, those are like, little loot box ones that you got to get their full set.
Oh, that's and there you go, Ryan. It's not even the full set, or it's not even the
Mm.
full skin. It's piece by piece.
Oh
So you
yeah.
could have like Zelda's head on Link's body with an Octorok's legs.
Yeah. I think it might ruin the immersion, but it's probably profitable, so let's do it.
Exact. I mean, we might be
Mhm.
able to get EA to do this if Nintendo will sign off on the rights.
Um,
I
but
think
but
I'm never going to be
Oh
invited
my.
back on this show.
Yeah, yeah, or any
I think
Nintendo
I'm gonna
show for
get
that
fired
matter.
too. But no, but a Zelda like MMO, I think like okay, like let's imagine that it's actually being worked on. I think the world that they created in Breath of the Wild is big enough for that.
Yeah.
Would yeah. So I can imagine it happening there. And
Well,
then
like any, I mean, and I apologize for
no, it's
interrupting, but I'm
fine.
just saying, like any of the worlds that if you add them all together and just assume the entirety of the land of Hyrule is how big that world could be. Even if you took the base world from the original Zelda game and turned that into a 3D, top-down third-person type game or even first-person type game, like imagine how big that could be. Each one
Right.
of the squares that you traveled to was its own zone because of course they had to minimalize it and make it much more manageable for an 8-bit system. But with what we have available now, imagine how much bigger they could make that and the way they could make things look with the graphics of the different enemies and the bosses and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think there's that honestly sounds like a very good idea. Um,
Hashtag trademarked. I want my cut, Nintendo.
I guess the only biggest issue would be figuring out where it would fit in the story if they wanted to make it canon. Not Ganon, but we'd have to figure out what
Yeah.
his role would be too. It would probably be like maybe I would imagine this would be similar to like how Elder Scrolls Online is. Like you have like this kind of like backstory that's going on, but you can kind of do whatever you want, and then you can go to all these different places that they've shown in all the other games.
Kind of like World of Warcraft. I mean, there's an overarching story that maybe Ganon has his armies and you can play on the Ganon side. And you can also play on the Hyrule side where you're actually working for the princess. And the same similar idea of having two separate factions, so at least you got the PvP in there as well. But I really think that like that ability would be really good. But yeah, having the Skyrim idea or the ESO idea as well would be phenomenal.
Right. As for my like suggestion, I always thought of basically what you said, but with Pokemon. And
Mm.
Have you not played Pokemon Go?
fuck
We're
Pokemon
all in
Go.
the game.
Fuck Pokemon Go.
We are the game, Nikhil.
But we realistically, we actually used to, in like our first 20 or 30 episodes, we used to spend the first 10 minutes just talking about Pokemon Go, and we can't do that anymore. We're forbidden. It's written in law. The state of Washington passed a law actually because I felt like that was a good halfway
Good thing I'm
between
in
me and Tyler.
Florida, or Virginia. I don't even know where I live anymore.
But yeah, no, a Pokemon MMO where, again, like World of Warcraft style, you're just roaming around, chilling. You can do whatever you want. You can farm with your animals. So like
You do know
RuneScape
that's
meets.
already in like World of Warcraft, right? Like you can catch pets.
Yeah, but it's World of Warcraft. I don't like World of Warcraft.
He wants his
I-
Pokemon.
I don't
I
either.
want, I want my Pikachu.
Now come here. Let me catch you.
You're gonna watch that movie, aren't you?
I honestly, I don't know
You're
how I feel
not?
about the movie. I will
What?
watch it, but I don't know how I feel about it.
I never said I wouldn't, Ryan. I'm just giving him a hard time. Back off.
Okay.
Yeah, no, like Pikachu looks too fuzzy for me.
Ooh, I like fuzzy Pikachu. Well, of course he's electric. It's static. It's static
No,
electricity.
and I get that, but then looking
There's a
at
man
like,
with a messy hairdo, dude. What you got
Look-
against
look-
fuzz?
I was gonna say I know you're not talking to me. I don't have any.
no, but if you look at like the games and like the official artwork from the original designers and stuff, Pikachu doesn't look fuzzy. And while I understand that with physics and stuff, it makes sense. It just doesn't look like what I thought it would look, and so
Well,
I'm just gonna wait.
Maybe the earlier artists were just bad.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, if Ash was actually giving Pikachu a hug and he didn't have hair and he was just like this one slick yellow orb, he would slide right out of his arms when he hugged him.
Well, I mean, I'm not
I was
saying that they're
agreeing.
going to be smooth, but even like short-haired dogs, they look a little. They look like they have a little bit of a shiny coat, but they're not like smooth, right? From like a distance, you know.
How far away
Um,
are you
Do
looking
you
at?
not shampoo and condition your dogs, man? Like, why do
I
they
know.
not have?
I don't
nice
have a
hair?
dog.
Oh well, maybe
Do you
that's your
not-
first
Yeah.
problem.
I think you need to catch one of these mice and shampoo and condition the mouse, and then we'll be able to like see what the coat
Hey, don't you have a
actually
few
looks
lying
like.
around?
No, we've had to clean up a few of the dead ones because of the traps. They're
You just
poison
reach in
baits.
the wall and grab a live one, dude.
But thank God they're fucking mice and not rats. That would be another whole other
Oh.
issue. We've been out of here a while
Yeah.
ago.
And I don't
That's
think it
not
works
right.
for testing it as a Pikachu. Like, so you,
No, because Pikachu's a mouse, right? So
yes.
yeah.
Lucky you.
Fuck, lucky me, dude. I'm so thankful. All right.
We've got the
so-
only important thing in the podcast going on. I'm petting my cat.
Kitty, how long have you had your cat now?
She's about 14, and I've had her for
Oh.
about 11 years.
She doesn't look like she's 14.
Oh, she's old as hell. She's old and cranky and a bitch.
Oh, okay.
Like, she literally waits till I go to the bathroom. Like, the litter box is in the bathroom, and she literally waits till I go to the bathroom to go in there and use the litter box, and mean mugs me the entire time she takes a shit. Like, just evil eyes me while she's pooping. She's like, "Yep, you have to sit in here and smell this."
I didn't know you were still living with your ex-wife.
Yeah, no, both of them at the same time. They
In the
each
same
have-
litter box?
Yeah, they each have one of my testicles on their keychain.
You should maybe give them litter box for one for each of them.
No, I like to watch them fight.
Okay. Well, whatever gets the job done.
Still gotta smell it either way. So
Yeah, exactly.
So moving on to the topic of the show, GDC's happened this past week. GDC is the Games Developer Conference. It
I
happened.
thought it was
where did
games
it
done
happen?
casually. Sorry.
Games done casually. And you're on Casual Master Quest, so that's what we do here.
Whee!
It was in San Francisco. Ryan, you're close to San Francisco, or are you in San
Yeah.
Francisco?
No, I'm not in San Francisco proper, but I am close to it. Yes,
Okay.
closer
Did
than
you
you.
crash any of the events, Ryan?
No, I did not go. It is. I wish I could have, but most of the events that I would have been capable of crashing were in the evening, and I was closing.
Working. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta do the thing,
I'm
and
just
then
gonna do. You know, 2000 GDC 2020 or GDC 2020 has a lot better of a sound to it. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
everything's happening in 2020. So the biggest announcement from GDC is Google Stadia.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how I feel about this.
Uh,
So Google Stadia, just really quickly, so we cover that, is basically it's a plugin to your Chrome browser from any Chrome enabled device, where you can play any kind of AAA title because it's streamed off a server that does all the processing, all the graphics for you.
mhm.
Um,
Isn't that
and
similar to the Shadow thing or whatever is going on right now, where you can rent a cloud-based gaming computer for like
Y-
$20 a month?
Shadow Blade or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a similar
it's
service.
Okay.
similar service, except here they don't have the raw power and capital that Google has.
Of course, yeah.
And so they promise that it is the future of gaming and it's going to make things accessible. Um, what are you guys' thoughts on that early on, at least?
I'm big on privacy and sharing my information and data, and I think the idea of opening something like that up, especially with all the things that you're hearing about Facebook, and you're also the things you're hearing about all the different companies that have gotten information from Facebook and things like that. I'm just not a fan of putting myself out there like that, where you can see everything on my system potentially with this. I just think
Mhm.
there's too much availability with what the terms and conditions could be potentially for what they're going to have access to. I'm not a fan of giving that much up.
Right.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I thought so much about the privacy, albeit I pretty much echo Aaron's sentiment there. But I would say what my first thoughts went to was just kind of the appeal to gamers, and then who this would actually be if like something that people want to get into, right? Because it's obviously going to be accessible, but will people actually buy in? And I think like the cool things to be reading or that I've read so far is like a lot of people that have an interest towards FPS, obviously are going to have like I think problems with it because of latency issues on your input. And like I think that's one thing, but it really does seem that assuming that they don't completely like drop the ball in terms of like privacy and protections, because I do think like what Erican's mentioning, like that is going to be the biggest barrier to entry, especially if you're trying to draw in people that don't have gaming rigs but want a game, kind of a deal.
Right.
So I guess it'll be interesting to see how those two groups play out and like where it all settles once it's actually available.
Right. So it supposedly launches this year in the US, UK, Europe, and Canada. We don't, or at least I haven't found any sources for how much it's going to cost, and what sort of titles are going to be available at launch. But they have mentioned Doom Eternal, and I think they mentioned an Assassin's Creed title, Assassin's Creed
Yeah,
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
My issue with this on a technical side is really the latency issue that you mentioned, Ryan.
Mhm.
Um, I as I'm not a hardcore gamer, but I've played enough FPSs where even in PvE games, PvE focused games, having input lag is annoying, and not
Mhm.
and having anything under uh, anything under 60 FPS is not feasible for me. Like I can't stand for that anymore. So for doing something like this, technically having all of that input lag and having to constantly worry about those FPS drops, I don't know how viable it would be, but it also would depend on the price.
I mean,
Um,
even at a cost-effective price. So I think the Shadow Blade thing, like we were talking about briefly, to give this same idea, is
Mhm.
approximately $20 a month. Because my friends have been trying to talk me into using it because I was talking about getting a two PC setup for streaming, and they thought about seeing what the integration was like. But again, cost regardless, it's still the idea of the input lag and what you're talking about. It's going to limit the effectiveness of the platform on a competitive side. So the idea of having any sort of FPS on there and actually trying to transition that into a competitive FPS or to build a competitive league on that FPS or on that platform, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle from day one.
Mhm.
And I think that's really going to be another huge limiting factor. Even like they're saying here, Marty Stratton revealed that the developer's upcoming first-person shooter Doom Eternal will run in 4K at 60 FPS on Stadia. Great, but then what's going to be the sort of delay lag because you've got to go, of course, from your controller to your TV to the server and then back to be able to see what's actually happening. And I just don't think that's going to be viable.
I feel like this could be very useful in certain niche kind of like gaming communities. I would imagine games such as I don't know, like retro games. I think if you're like uh if you were to have a library online that Google made accessible, filled with, games all the way from 80, 1980 to like, the
So
early
just a giant
2000s.
emulator.
So just a giant emulator that is secure. You don't have to worry about any kind of viruses, nothing. You pay maybe, let's say, $10, and you can play any kind of like old school game. I feel like in that instance, it would be interesting. No.
I mean, that's
Mhm.
definitely an option, but then also something like this, if with what they've got behind them, even a good example for games that I play would be 7 Days to Die. Right now, 7 Days to Die is limited by the server side capacity of the game that of the server that you're playing as to how many people you can get on there. So the most we've ever had, or the most I've ever had on a server was about 64 people. But that was a monster server that was running like, dual processors, the whole nine yards. It was a monster
Mhm.
server. So something like this could maybe boost games like that. Like maybe for Dead by Daylight, instead of having 4 players, maybe you can have 8 players and 2 killers. And it gives different games like that more availability. But definitely, I don't think the FPS is going to be the main selling point for this game. Ryan,
Mhm.
get your feet off your desk.
Dude, I'm just saying, dude. I'm into the conversation now. That's what the slouch means. I promise.
Right, it's just big chilling.
No, no, because I'm just stewing up the next point, dude. Which
All right,
is,
what drop
dude,
that next point.
up that next point. That no, I was just thinking about how like I agree with I think everything we talked about thus far. It's the biggest thing is that where I think they're gonna knock it out of the park in terms of appeal to people is the connected gaming experience, right?
Mhm.
The ability to be on my like setup, maybe in my room, and then I want to go out on the couch and hang out, for whatever reason. Maybe like, I've got fam out there, the roommate, we're watching a movie, but I want to play on my phone. Like I can just like go walk out there, pull up my Chrome browser and keep playing the game. And so I think that in and of itself is gonna like likely draw the initial appeal because people want to know what that is like. So it'll be interesting to see like what if you have input latency, but then you swap from, PC setup or whatever
Yeah.
to a tablet out on the couch, like how much is that going to drastically affect like your gameplay experience when it comes to controlling, just the basics. Like that's what I'm really curious about.
See, you also just brought up something that I didn't think about, but actually like gives me an idea of another huge selling point for them potentially is the idea of you were talking about connectivity, not only with the individual electronics that you have, but
Mhm,
let's assume that like Google were to have like Google Plus was still like an active thing. And let's
mhm,
say you had a bunch of friends or a bunch of people that you knew on Google Plus like you did on Facebook. Let's say everybody's playing Farmville again or something along those lines, you've got like huge communities already existing on the
mhm.
platform that you've already got in your Google Circles, your Google email book, or your email address book, all these things. So this might actually be a huge possibility to port into MMOs and things of that nature. Or just massively
Mm,
player games where multiplayer games where all of you are playing Slingo or Bingo or Rummy, and it sounds silly because it's a small game, but think about all those older people that are trying to play those games right now. I mean, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember Yahoo Games, but there
mhm,
were hundreds of thousands of people on Yahoo Games at any given time playing everything from Rummy to Gin to, poker, all these different things.
mhm.
This might be the direction that they're going to go as well. Sure, they're going to have that niche high-end audience that's trying to play Doom, but their moneymaker might be
Yeah.
playing card games and selling backs to cards, and they use that as their microtransactions to make money.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean that the one thing is that I'd bet a lot of people and, varying depending on their age group, but like the ones that, are pretty fluent in using like mobile phones or tablets or
Yeah.
anything like that, but aren't necessarily consider themselves gamers, but like to play, let's just use the popular like Candy Crush, on
Yeah.
their phone, and then maybe they'll play solitaire when they're at work and bored, right? Like the ability to play solitaire on the phone, right? Or, by like the reverse, like Candy Crush on, wherever, like from phone to tablet, to desktop, like that is, I think, gonna be another a part I hadn't thought about until you mentioned that.
Yeah, and For me, I think about it when I travel. I usually travel. If I go home, I go with my laptop, and my laptop's about 8 years old and never came with a graphics card, so I can't play anything. And also, it's a MacBook, so gaming's just out of the window with that. Um,
So you
and
just
so
play
just
tic-tac-toe with yourself.
uh, I can't even get that done. No,
Oh my
don't even
god.
have the hand-eye coordination for that. But no, like I just go home, and there are, because of jet lag and like home's like 12
Mm,
hours behind, like ahead. I'll be up at night and I won't be able to sleep, but I don't have my console with me. I don't have my desktop with me, and so having something where I can pop open Chrome and then fucking play Stardew Valley while I fall asleep, or play a game of RimWorld while I fall asleep, because all of this is happening elsewhere. I don't have to worry about performance from my laptop. I think for it, like aspects like that, um, I could see this being a very strong. I can't even say it's a competitor, because I feel like with
mm.
the resources and capital that Google has, they would blow whatever. I can't remember. Was it Shadow Blade? Did you say?
Yeah.
Shadowblade, yeah, just keep
I
talking.
think
I'll
I
look
think
into it.
Yeah.
Shadow is the product and Blade Group is the company.
Right. Yeah. And so I feel like Google would just knock it out of the park immediately
Mm,
if they're actually successful in this, what I think is a gimmick right now, because the technology is just not there. And until that technology, it's like VR. Honestly, VR start and people still push hard for VR, but I do believe that VR is a gimmick, because you just cannot create a, universal experience for everybody, not in just in purely in terms of experiencing the game.
mm,
There are more VR experiences that people get sick, physically sick, as compared to like just regular games on a regular monitor.
Yeah.
And
mhm.
so VR very much is a gimmick at like maybe amusement parks, and it works well for that, for in those situations, but not with gaming. And so I think that Google Stadia will knock it out of the park and establish its own place, but will not become the norm.
Well, what do you think about, and I'm not sure, I think you guys are both anime in some capacity. What if we look at this as a transition into something like where virtual reality is the norm for everyone? Because now we've got a system that's going to be accessible by everybody, regardless of what your system is, and then have the ability to integrate virtual reality into it. And you're looking at something similar to like a Sword Art Online, where you've got
Right.
like that level across the board. Sure, if everybody has input lag or everybody has the same delay, or they're able to, you know, whatchamacallit, fine tune it down so that one specific game or that one specific platform that they have doesn't have that issue. I mean, what are your thoughts about them potentially using something like this to get into something along those lines? As I run over my headset. Sorry.
Uh, well, the biggest issue also I think with VR is that it's not easily accessible. Like the most accessible form of gaming, um, it would be a console or a handheld device of some sort,
Well, I
right?
know, but what I'm saying is, what if that was integrated into this? Let's say 6 months down the line, they say with every Stadia account you get a VR headset.
Oh,
Mm.
oh,
And then you can buy adapters for plugging into the different types of phones,
Yeah.
tablets, or other devices.
I
oh,
mean, that's the idea, that I'm looking at the fact that you basically just put a platform worldwide that everybody, if you have a PC, which I think the statistics are, there's like 5% of homes that do not have personal computers of some capacity or smartphones or whatever it is. But now you've given everybody in the world the ability to get on one platform and then integrate something like virtual reality to be able to interact with people even more so than you do now. I mean, that might be something that they're looking at doing down the line, and if they haven't, again, hashtag I want my cut.
I can guarantee you that the first game that they will push hard would be Fortnite.
Probably, and I
If
would
that
puke
ever
everywhere when I built.
happened.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But don't
We
forget, I am the only pro Fortnite gamer that we have on this podcast.
This
It's
is
true.
true. This
It's
is
true.
true. Do you want to remind? Do you want to remind us what you mean
No,
by pro Fortnite?
no. Hell no.
But
um,
technicalities say he's not wrong.
Yeah,
he's not wrong. No, he has been on a stage and competed in a tournament, and that is all that shall be said.
that's
I
all that
saw a
needs to be
selfie
said.
proving it. Yeah. I saw a selfie proving it.
I've got clips on my channel that prove I was in it too. I'm in the background skydiving down.
That's too good. That's too good. You
But I mean, just the
pro.
idea of something like that with, and I keep using the example of the Sword Art Online, but that's like the main thing that I can think about, where they've
Mhm.
got
Right.
a worldwide interconnectivity through a gaming system. I mean, imagine how awesome that would be. Like Nikel, you just talked about the fact that your family is 12 hours different. Well, I mean,
Right.
how nice would it be if you've got a cousin in, at home, you've got you in Canada, maybe somebody working in Thailand, and all three of you decide one night to stay up late or get up early, and you're all deciding to play poker with each other. But you're actually sitting in the room with your own avatars as yourselves, sitting there bullshitting with family that maybe you don't get to talk to or see on a regular basis, and just how close knit or how much camaraderie that could bring to the table.
No, that in that specific case, or not specific case, but like I see the potential there. I don't know, dude. I just think it's amazing. Really, really does blow my mind sometimes because unlike most other, and I think Ryan, you're in a similar boat as I am. Like my sister is 5 years younger than me, so she didn't grow up with dial-up, so
Mm.
she hasn't
Mm.
seen the internet change, right? She didn't get yelled at for playing for taking up the phone line while I was on RuneScape.
Yep.
Um, uh, and so just seeing how much has changed in such a relatively short amount of time, whereas for my sister, all of this is kind of like,
Whatever.
oh, yeah, it's just kind of like normal. I'm like, it's not fucking normal. It's we used to have wires connecting shit.
Hmm.
But
Only wires.
Yeah.
uh,
We used to have
this is
$4,000 phone bills because we didn't realize the number we were dialing into was outside of our area code.
outside of $4,000.
Don't ask.
Jesus Christ.
I had to lie about that one a lot.
So beyond the Stadia, Google announced that they have their own gaming controller that looks very much like a cross between the Nintendo Switch Pro controller and an Xbox controller, and also a PS4 controller. It's just very kind of
It's a
Google.
generic, yeah. It's they've taken the best bits of everything and put it on one controller is what it looks like.
But there's nothing to press in the top middle, and it makes me feel like a sticker needs to go there.
Yeah,
What
but
would
I mean,
would you like a little Google symbol?
No, not Google, but maybe I was just expecting the little Stadia button to be up top there because of Xbox and
well, maybe
PlayStation.
that's why they're trying to do it against it. So now instead of having to reach up to the middle, it's just right between the buttons. I mean, I still don't see myself accidentally hitting that middle button for whatever reason. But it looks like it's the best of all of them put together. It's got the little plug at the bottom for either your headset or maybe they're going to do a plug-in keyboard like they did with the PlayStation and Xbox controllers. Yeah, I mean, it looks like an amalgamation of all the best controller or all the best parts of a controller put together.
I don't think we have a price for the controller, but I would imagine it would retail at about what do controllers go for? 69?
50, 60. Yeah,
Yeah.
depending.
Yeah.
And the only other biggest announcement that and this ties back to what we were just talking about was there's a new Oculus Rift that's going to be coming out. It's going to launch this spring for $399. It's called the Oculus Rift S. Have either of you ever used an Oculus Rift?
No. I don't know that I can with my glasses. I don't know how the VR actually works, if it can adjust to bad vision. But that's the main reason that I've been hesitant to do it, because I just don't know. They don't put out enough information for me to know without having to do a bunch of searching on my own to know whether I'm going to be able to actually see anything if I put that damn thing on.
Yeah, I don't know if I've used an Oculus Rift. I've used like a couple different VR headsets, but I've mixed up which ones were which because I didn't know the names originally. So it
But you've
looks
used them.
familiar though. Yeah. So generally VR usage, but not Oculus Rift specific.
I if I ever had the chance to get a VR headset, I would probably opt for whatever works with the PlayStation because I really do want to give Beat Saber a go.
Okay.
Beat Saber, dude.
Yeah,
It's
that's because it just reminds me of what was
Star Wars.
Guitar Hero? Not fuck Star Wars. No, I
They
didn't say
look
that.
like
I
fucking.
didn't-
They look
I
like
didn't say
fucking
that. I didn't say
lightsabers.
that. I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
Just lost all your viewership and your job.
Yeah, dude, that's twice in one show, man.
I'm on a roll today. It just looks fun. Yeah. But that's GDC in a nutshell, at least stuff that's relevant for us. And because neither of you are Tyler, Tyler has a habit of pulling me along on these strange, elaborate, very long, complicated stories, and we usually stretch this out to about 2 hours for whatever fucking reason, and that just became the norm. We tried twice to establish ourselves in this hour-and-a-half podcast. We failed both those times, and we've just given up. And so we're about 30 minutes early, and we're hitting game releases, and so this is a feels good because I've had a lot of fun, but it's time to start telling people what they can expect in the coming week. So let's see.
Sorry. I had to squeeze it in.
That's what she said.
Hey, that one's personal, all right?
So we've got a lot coming out on the 26th, actually.
Well, I mean, I apologize, but I was going to say one thing that I don't see up here that you guys might have talked about last month or last week when you talked about it is Sekiro just came out yesterday, and everybody, like a lot of big streamers I've been seeing, have been pushing Sekiro, which is the next game in the Souls series. And I was just going to throw out my little thing about Dark Souls games. I've bought every Dark Souls games on the weekend of release and returned them within 24 hours.
Okay.
Because I'm that bad at them.
So just to add on to that, I don't know. I can't remember. We talked about this last week. I can't remember if Tyler's a big Souls fan. I fucking hate the Dark Souls games.
Yeah.
I hate them with a passion. Yeah. I like challenge. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy being challenged at certain parts during a game. But I don't like being challenged constantly. And I hate anything that even remotely scares me, which is why I had to have somebody hold my hand through Dead Space 3 because I played it in co-op. And I wouldn't play. I refused to play Dark Souls 3 without my friends carrying me through co-op either. So
and the lights on in the middle of the day with a kitten on your lap.
100%. So I'm not interested. That's why I haven't bought it up. Neither of you have played it this week. No. I'm never gonna play it.
Nope.
And if people are gonna enjoy it, if it's your game, good for you. But I fucking hate it.
Yep. I like challenge, but there's a difference between challenge and trying to jam a 55-gallon drum up your ass.
The most challenging game I played, and I did this because I wanted to do like a bunch of variety games and play games that I've not played. And so I played Bayonetta a couple of months ago. It was an interesting game. There's a lot of fan service in that game because it is a Japanese game, and I'm very thankful for that. And it made it a much pleasant experience because that game tore a hole through my heart. It was so difficult at some points, and I hated playing it. And it just went on and on and on, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I'm not touching that series ever again. I'm not touching the Dark Souls series ever again. No amount of ass could bring me back to any game series that's like Bayonetta.
No, there's an amount.
No, there's an amount. There's definitely an amount.
Let's
just a lot.
It's a lot, but there's an amount.
Ryan, do you have a game series that people tend to like but you absolutely hate?
Anything in
Warcraft.
Whoa, that hurt emotionally. All right, physically and a little bit as a nerd. Okay, I don't know what you call that one, but I love World of Warcraft. Okay, played that since I was a wee lad, which was just yesterday. But
I wasn't gonna say it.
No, I mean, I think most of the games generally have appeal. I'm trying to think of ones. Turn-based are ones that I get the interest in them, but it just does not.
No Command and Conquer for you.
Like the only turn-based one I would say I've ever really played is Pokemon,
right?
And then the only one that I would be interested in trying would be Fire Emblem.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
But I've just never it's never pulled me in, you know.
Right. And that was my thought too while watching gameplay of Octopath Traveler. Because I'm like, I fucking like, I don't like turn-based. They take too long. I hate turn-based. And then I'm like, wait, Pokemon's a turn-based game. And then I downloaded the demo and I'm like, all right, this is not bad because it is faster paced, and that's what the difference is for me. Like, I don't like, and Eric, I think we've talked about this with when it comes to like BRs. I don't like slower paced games. I like games that allow me to be aggressive and are a little bit faster paced, which is why you enjoy Apex and versus. No, I love that. I love that about Apex. But totally. You've enjoyed PUBG in your day, and not in your day. You're not ancient, but
well, kind of. I was also gonna say, shut up, Ryan. I'll sit on you. Also, you know what else
Normally I have to
isn't
pay for that.
turn-based, but you would still like it, Nicole?
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
All right. So we're
Dude.
gonna do this.
Are you downloading it now? Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, dude.
Can you see it? Can you see
Clean
it?
up your
Don't do it.
desktop thingy,
Don't.
dude.
Oh no, he deleted Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go is gone. Delete
Oh,
it.
you didn't
That's
get
just, dude, that's just disrespectful, man. To be fair, I don't even have it installed on my phone, so now we're closer together. But
I mean, the moment I go on vacation again, if I do end up going out to Orlando this summer, I'll probably download it because it'll give me something to do during my
there's all sorts
downtime.
of Pokestops in Disney.
you won't just
Yeah.
like have friends to hang out with. That would just be
What are
crazy.
those?
Yeah.
You think I
Wait,
get
why
out of
am
the
I
house?
here, dude?
Not because of all that dirt I have on you or anything, or all the blackmail, those photos I took of you and that tiger.
Dude, I told you those were commissioned photos. You can't post that content
Those
per
are
our
boudoir.
agreement. Yeah, come on, dude. That is Instagram's exclusives.
And you can find Ryan's Patreon on patreon.com.
I haven't built it yet. Calm down. Okay.
I don't think he's kidding, Nicole.
I really haven't.
Is that when we're going to see the Tracer cosplay?
I was, I mean, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I officially announced this moment.
At this moment that you're going to be cosplaying Tracer at
If
PAX
it
West,
ever happens, that's where it'll show up.
At
dude.
Guardian Con.
At
my
Guardian
God,
Con,
Guardian
Ryan's
Con.
going to show up as a Tracer.
There's
While
a-
he's
there's-
volunteering, hell
Nice.
There is a likelihood more so at TwitchCon than Guardian Con, okay, if any. All right.
Great. Then I'll have to dress up like Reinhardt.
Yeah, dude. Please do. Back to the German sweaty man thing, dude. Just please swing that hammer.
I mean, what if you had to give me a character to dress up as from Overwatch? I can't think of anybody right now.
Anna.
Mercy?
You?
Yeah.
Winston?
Yeah.
That's racist.
I'm still sticking with Anna, dude. I'm sticking with
Farah?
A Farah? No, I want to play somebody
That's
old.
just
I
a
think.
younger Anna, dude.
It's a younger.
Go with Anna, man. What's wrong with her? All right.
I love Anna so much. Okay.
You can
So I
make
think
a
we're
Nerf
finally
gun into a sleep dart gun, dude. Just saying. Just saying, dude.
With the Nerf gun just shooting people in the head. Bang! You're
Yeah.
healed.
Live action sleep dart, dude. People would eat that shit up.
Are there any games that you guys are excited about coming up later this year?
Oh.
Okay. Let me rephrase that question.
I just hadn't thought farther than tomorrow, dude.
Yeah, same here. I was like, I'm playing Division now. I don't know what else is coming out.
Okay, let me rephrase that question. Okay, you've said you don't know what's coming out, but are there any games you're excited to play that are coming out as a non-streamer, and games that you're excited to play on stream, or even not necessarily new games?
There is one asymmetric horror game that I've been waiting to come out for a while. That's 14 survivors and one killer. And it was in a GoFundMe for a while, and I can't think of the name of it. I'll Google it right now, but it looks amazing, and I'm really looking forward to playing that when it comes out.
Sorry, did you say 14 survivors and one killer?
Yeah.
Okay. The only game that I can think of that's even close to that is Deceit. That's free on Steam.
No, it's called Hide or Die.
Hide or Die.
Yeah, Hide or Die. It's a large-scale asymmetrical horror game. Last it was updated on May 19th on Kickstarter. They met, if not all of they pledged 155,000 for it, and they met all of their stretch goals. And it's in the process of coming out. It's up to 16 players, so one killer, 15 survivors. Retail price is $30, PC platform. Looks like they're going to be launching it sometime this year, probably third or fourth quarter. But yeah, it looks really good.
Nice. Ryan, do you have anything you're excited for on or off stream?
I mean, I'm excited for Elder Scrolls whenever that comes out. Does that one count? Can I still be? Can I be excited?
Sure,
about
you
that?
can definitely be excited.
Yeah.
Like the same way I'm excited for
I'm gonna-
Cyberpunk 2077.
Dude, I'm gonna just keep it up. Keep up that hype.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah, I just don't know that many games. But in terms of like on or off streaming, like off streaming, probably. Well, I don't know if it'll all be that, but getting back into Spider-Man when I do the DLC,
Nice.
master, dude. That That's
Right.
like
Yeah, because you finally got around to doing the Spider-Man streams after months of promising for it to come out,
yeah, dude.
and then you finally did it, and it's a beautiful game. It
Dude.
makes me like Spider-Man and God of War is two of the games that came out recently that made me wish that I have a PS4.
It made those are two that made me glad I did, dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I guess Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know if or when or how I'll play it, but I've been meaning to, and the roommates have it lying around, dude. So and do that good
Yeah,
old
I've never liked westerns. So Red Dead Redemption was always like was always boring to me, never appealed to me, and I would never touch them.
do you like poker?
Do you like
I-
blackjack?
So is this like if you enjoy trading card games and so you pick up The Witcher 3 and just play Gwent all day in the game?
Pretty much. Pretty fucking much.
Yeah.
Do you like dominoes?
There was a bunch of those mini games too with a lot of the Assassin's Creed games, and that was sometimes the better part of those games because Assassin's Creed 3 was bad. I never had fun with that game.
Wow, dude. How could you just hurt that game's soul like that, dude? It had a
Fuck
family.
that game.
All right, I'm here for it.
Black Flag was the last.
That was a little aggressive, but okay.
Yeah, Black Flag was the last fun game fun one that I played. I haven't touched Origin or Odyssey yet, and I intend to eventually. Just because they're new games essentially, right? They're not your typical Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm finally gonna get to these releases.
Yay!
We've
We're
sidetracked.
trying to stretch it out for you.
Yeah, dude.
No.
We didn't want you to be too early, you know. Then she's gonna be disappointed.
No, it's fine. You're just taking time away from my projects, and then it just makes it harder for me to work throughout the night. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
We're
Proving
taking
your
away from
parents
his
right,
bonding.
dude.
We're taking away from his bonding with the mice.
They're gonna be. Somebody has to keep them warm.
That's true.
Giggity.
So March 26th, we've got a lot of games coming out. We've got the Danganronpa trilogy. That's getting I believe it's a remaster or remake. We've got that's coming out on PS4, Generation 0, PS4, Xbox One, PC. I have never heard of this game.
Neither have I.
Let me look it up.
It sounds like a game, though.
It does sound like a game. It is a first-person shooter, and that's all I could find out about the game. And so we're going to move on. We've got The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel, Decisive Edition coming on the PS4. This is a remake of one of those weeb games. Fucking weebs, dude.
Coming from the man who just played Bayonetta. Go ahead.
MLB The Show 19, PS4. I've never played. Have you guys played a baseball game before? No.
I played Mario Strikers and baseball.
Mario Strikers. Yeah, I played Wii baseball once. I don't know if that fucking counts.
That counts.
Yeah, back when I had a GameCube, I played more sports games. All right, but it's been a sad day since the best system was around. So
Right.
Yeah,
right,
and television.
Yeah. Nelke and the Legendary Alchemist Ateliers of the New World comes out for the PS4, PC, and Nintendo Switch. That was a long title. And
That's
let's
a
see
hell of a name.
if I can find out anything about it. It looked like a really cute weeb game. I know nothing about it except for the fact that it was also on the Vita, so this is probably getting its release on other consoles right now.
Gotcha.
Outward, which is I think what we were talking about, or maybe something else. It's coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, also on the 26th. That is also a game. This is generally how we do things. We just kind of like look through these games and see if there's anything that stands out, and a lot of the times there isn't, unless it's a big release. Outward looks like a survival game, co-op
Maybe
survival
I'll check it
game.
out.
Maybe you will. Survival games seem to be your thing.
Yeah.
Yoshi's Crafted World, dude. I'm curious.
Let him get there.
Let me get there, Ryan.
Listen, I had to screw something up at least once today. The show is almost over. This was my time. Okay.
I mean, I was gonna give you a couple of minutes.
The people wanted Yoshi, dude. I had to give it to him.
Then we've got what is this? The Princess Guide.
It's
Coming
Ryan's
out.
life book.
Yes.
Lifebook, PS4 and Nintendo Switch. The Princess Guide is a action RPG developed by Nippon Ichi Software. And I know this because obviously I own the game.
I'm just waiting for you to put on a tiara.
Just waiting for it.
And all those games so far mentioned are coming out on the 26th. We've got Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered coming out PS4, Xbox One, PC, Nintendo Switch on the 29th of March. The Nintendo Switch version comes out on the 21st of March.
Right.
Tropico 6 comes out PS4, Xbox One, PC, March 29th. Except the consoles come out in the summer. We don't have a release date for that. What is Tropico? Eric, so I feel like somebody would be able to
Tropico.
tell me what Tropico
Yeah,
is.
I can explain what Tropico is. Tropico is a world builder. Basically, you are building a world where you are the dictator, and all of your decisions. Oh God, I just punched myself in the face. All of
Are
your
you okay?
decisions. Yeah, no, I hit my mic. All of your decisions are to build up the city. It's like a Sim City, but a
Okay.
dictatorship instead of worrying about what works best for the city. It's what worked best for you.
Oh, okay, cool. So if you're into that, that's coming out soon, guys. And Ryan,
Mhm.
are you ready to tell me about Yoshi's Crafted World?
Oh yeah, it's a game.
Fucking fired.
And this is the first and last time you'll ever hear from Ryan here.
Well, I just knew the title, man, and I knew I was excited about it. And I knew it had great box art cover, dude. Okay.
It is
Box
coming
cover.
out on the 29th of March for the Nintendo Switch. Now, this is probably one of our favorite segments as we close up this day in gaming, and because we release our episodes on the Mondays, we look at the day we're releasing in that Monday. So on this day, March 25th, we've got a couple games here, but you guys should have access to that link on the doc.
Mhm.
So feel
Mhm.
free to just scroll through that list and just shout out any that stick out to you.
I
But I'll
mean,
start going down from 2016. Sorry.
I was gonna say the biggest one for me right there is Diablo 3. Like I've put
Okay.
thousands of hours into Diablo 3. Reaper of Souls. Like I put thousands of hours in Diablo 2 as well. And the fact that they came out in 2014, it's 2015, it's a 5-year-old game. Well, that was the Reaper of Souls. Sorry, that's just the expansion.
Yeah.
That was the expansion. Like, yeah, it just makes me feel old. Real fucking old.
Right. We have a few on here that Tyler actually helped me build. And so obviously, right at the top, we've got Hyrule Warriors Legends that came out on the 3DS in 2016. Slither.io that came out for the PC in 2016. Is this anything like it was one of those other
It's
.io
snakes.
games? Is it Snakes?
Yeah,
But
it's snakes.
what was the other one called where you have like you represented by little balls and then you go around eating other balls?
Snake.
That was just your time in college.
Snake.
No,
You
it's
know what?
snake. Snake and slither are the same thing, where you
Okay.
go around eating other. You eat the circles because I'm not going to say balls. You eat
Yeah.
the circles and you grow bigger, and then you trap snakes inside of yourself. And when they hit part of you, you eat them and grow bigger too.
Okay, yeah, so I'm thinking of the same thing then. Okay. So that came out 2016 on
Yes.
PC. Literally, it is free to play, so just go slither.io and you'll be able
Yep.
to play that.
Mhm.
Diablo 3, as I can mention, Reaper of Souls, that expansion came out in 2014. And probably the biggest one on this list, well, maybe not the biggest one, depends on who you ask, but
Ooh,
Warframe came out in 2013.
Yay!
Yeah,
I
so
know that one.
Ryan,
yay!
you play Warframe?
I played for a brief bit, dude.
Like
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, dude. Masterclass level 4 or whatever. I'm just kidding.
Trying to become a Warframe partner? Was that the goal or
No, no. That was never gonna happen. I knew that well in advance. Okay, I
He was
just
trying
like,
to get partnered with some of the Warframe associates, though.
dude. Yeah, I was
Ooh.
trying to get partnered with Erican mainly, dude.
I'd partner you.
Dude, you did
I'm
not. Okay,
pitching.
because we quit playing. Damn it, and it was not worth. I'm just kidding. But no, I for Warframe, I just really enjoyed playing with it. My first exposure was actually really at Guardian Con, like meeting the people. And so
Mhm.
like I checked out the game after that and I was like, no, this is clearly like a well thought out and game that, like has really robust systems that don't explain themselves well to new players at all. But which will forever be my criticism. But like it's as solid as it really gets for free to play. And then especially for the type of game it is. So I've always had an appreciation for it since I heard about it.
Right. For me, this my main thing has always been I agree with you there. It's not easy for new players to get into, and B, it's just the movement bothers me for some reason. I love how much freedom you have, but
Mhm.
it also just like the visual blur and how fast it can be and how disorienting it be sometimes. It really put me off.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
it's just real fast.
I
Oh,
just
yeah.
wasn't able to get into Warframe.
Yeah.
But again, like the biggest hindrance, like maybe if I knew what the systems were and what I was doing, it might have made it easier. But because I knew absolutely nothing going into it, it just made it hard.
Yeah, that is what I would say will forever, or at least until they change it up, be their biggest problem is like the barrier to entry. Because I think once people get in, they're in.
Right.
But like, you getting them there at all is they make it harder on themselves.
Yeah.
Do we have any Final Fantasy players here?
Not since 7, the best one ever.
Okay, so you'd be able to tell us a little bit about Crisis Core, I hope.
Fuck no.
Okay, because I know nothing about the Final Fantasy series. So, but this was a PSP game that came out in 2008.
Well, that's your first problem.
Yeah, PSP.
So we used to have 3 people. We used to be a team of 3. And our third person before he left us was a staunch defender of the PS Vita and the PSP.
Now I'm glad to hear he left.
He'll be turning in his sleep when he hears anybody disrespecting the PSP or the PS Vita or the Wii U or the GameCube or anything dead, basically.
Nice. So he's a big fan of the Dreamcast.
Yes, and the Famicom.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't even know that one existed, dude.
I like the Famicom.
I too like the Fap. What?
What? How did we derail there so quick?
Have you met me?
And then The Sims came out in 2003 on the GameCube and the original Xbox.
Xbox OG.
Growing up,
that's how you know he's young. What?
On the fucking page, jackass.
Xbox OG, dude.
That's what it says.
It's just Xbox, man.
I didn't write this. Nikel did. Why are you calling me old?
I didn't do it. Somebody did it.
I said that's how you know he's young. And I was talking about Nikhil for putting Xbox OG. Dang it, dude.
All right.
Listen, I did mention that Tyler helped me finish this list, so it could have very well been
just
him.
Gonna blame the guy who's not here
because he can't defend himself.
I like your style. I like your style.
All right. So Sims came out for that, and then we've got our last one, Final Fantasy 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say about The Sims. That was the game that, well, at least me growing up was considered the girl game. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's the game that girls play, not like
So
we
you played a lot of it.
No, not this girl game. This is not the girl game I touched, but I played a lot of.
This was not the girl game you touched.
Listen,
I did not have video game relations.
Listen, when Club Penguin was officially shut down, I cried.
Dude, what about Neopets? Okay,
Neopets is still going.
No, I know, but like when you lost.
Wait, why do I know that?
Yeah, why do you know that?
Shut up.
Okay, moving on. And as Eric mentioned, Final Fantasy 3 came out in 1999, and that's probably a big hitter for some people. But we're done. We somehow made it through an episode for the most part.
2 minutes there. Let's go.
Without anybody having the cops show up on them. Nobody getting swatted. Not yet, at least.
Don't even make that joke.
No, yeah, that was a bad joke. Tyler, you cut out that part.
Okay. How do we cut?
No, it's okay. He'll take care of it.
Okay. He'll edit it when he comes back.
No, yeah. All right, so this is where you guys get to
plug.
I was gonna find a more sexual euphemism.
Plugging isn't sexual.
Not enough. Not sexual enough.
Slide.
This is where you get to stroke your own cock on stream.
Wow. That is explicit.
Hold on, let me stand up.
Oh God, no, I'm blind. Brian, where can we find you? What are you doing? Anything you want to tell us about?
Yeah. So I mean my social media on all the platforms is at a bit too lethal, which the two is grammatically correct there. Always an important one to say. But then doing the streaming thing, there's also a blog, a bit too wordy.com, which is exactly what you think it would be, which is too many words. But those are the things, and those are the places you can probably best find me outside of stalking Nikhil, asking him to play ranked with me as my support.
Yeah, because I used to be a Mercy main, and that's all I'm known for, a heal slut. but I don't do that anymore.
It's
so.
a very valuable role, and he does it for me. Don't let him tell you otherwise.
I'd like the heel slut for you.
Ooh!
I mean, we can arrange something right after this finishes.
Nice.
Okay, go on.
Okay. Brian, where
Yes.
can we find you online on the interwebs?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Erican. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Erican, ARRICAN, if you're curious. And that's mostly where you're going to find me right now. I'm playing a lot of Twitch lately. Been playing a lot of Division 2. Probably going to go back to some of my other games, try to build up some more viewership, and then force them to watch me play Division. But that's about it. That's really all I got going on until I find work, and then you'll probably see me a little less, but not too much.
All right. And to fill in for Tyler, because he's not here, you can find him online at 2timestyler on Twitter. He doesn't have an Instagram because he's too old for that. But not as but Erican's younger because he has an Instagram. So
Emotionally younger.
Emotionally younger, mentally younger, maybe. You can find me on twitch.tv/LRWarrior11. As soon as school's done, I'm going to have some sort of schedule again, and I can't wait. I miss it. I really do. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at LRWarrior11. You can find the show at MasterQuestPod on Twitter. We are also on Instagram and still working on that. School's been taking away from me from finishing up that Instagram, but it is going to go. I'm going to be posting stuff there soon. So that's at Casual MasterQuest. And you can also email us any questions, comments, concerns. You want to say hi, you want to hang out, make lunch plans, because I need friends. Unfortunately,
Critiques. Tell us how horrible we were as guests.
Definitely that part.
Casualmasterquest@gmail.com. All right. Any last words? Anything you guys wanted to throw in before?
Xylophone.
I was just gonna go with that. Thank you again for having us, or at least me. I just.
Oh, I see how it is.
I don't know. I mean, he was all right, but he's got a B on the front of his Ryan name, and it's just kind of weird.
Well, at least Brian is spelled correctly with the Y. But no, also thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad to know that you don't have a height requirement to be here.
Yeah, no, we don't discriminate against height. Usually. We made an exception today.
Yeah, you're just making that joke because you're like basically the same height as me, but Erican made it funny. All right, don't lie. All right, we met in person.
Listen, I'm taller than you.
Yeah, but like your personality makes you shorter, so like calm down.
I mean, he said you a little man.
I am. I am the youngest one here, so I'm gonna take
no
that.
nipple having little man.
He has no nipples.
I'm sorry, that one just came to me and it had to be said. Okay.
No, it was my pleasure having you guys on. Thank you for being flexible and willing to jump on in my kind of like last minute kind of planning.
We'll happy to jump on you at the last minute.
Oh yes, Daddy. That being said, right before we close off here, honorary guild member Brandon. Brandon's been helping us a little bit with the show. He's guested a few times. He is Tyler's best friend. Today's his birthday. That is a Monday specifically. Happy birthday, Brandon!
Birthday, man.
I hope you guys made it through the weekend okay. Have a good upcoming year, dude. But otherwise, that was episode 44. Thank you very much for listening. That was Ryan. That was Ryan, aka a bit too lethal on the internet. That was Brian, aka Erican on the internet, and I'm Nick, LR Warrior. You can find us on all of those things, and don't forget to never stop the grind. Bye.
Bye. Yay!